myself here, open up Facebook, open up LinkedIn, and then basically today's gonna be a pretty basic day. We're gonna go through. My goal for you at the end is to take one tip away to save you at least 10 to 15 minutes in your content creation journey. So whether it's how to create content, how to repurpose, how to come up with ideas, whatever that is, like a successful live stream for me today, a successful time with us together is I can save you 10 minutes at least in one area or another during your process, your creation process. So let me just change this webcam. Yeah, Megan, I will tell you about my live streaming situation there. Let's close this, and we should be ready to rock and roll. I'm excited. Let's come on Facebook. Yeah, so right now I am streaming to Facebook, my personal Facebook. The page one wasn't really working earlier. A YouTube, so I can save them for later. So if anyone ever wants to rewatch something or anything, they can just go to my YouTube channel, and everything's stored there, so that you can go through and you're like, oh, what did Nico say on Tuesday? Oh, wait, he streamed over there. I can save it, easily find it. LinkedIn, of course, because I have a great community. What's up, everyone watching on LinkedIn? And so how do you multi-stream? I have a software called StreamYard. I'm more than happy to share that with everyone. They have a free plan that's usually streaming to one platform, but I do the paid. I pay like $25 a month, and then I can stream to multiple places. And it's good for repurposing content. But like I said, for anyone joining right now, the goal for this live is very simple. I want to save you at least 10 minutes somewhere in your content creation ecosystem atmosphere, because if I can save you 10 minutes, that 10 minutes is compounded throughout, not just today, but the rest of your life. It can possibly give you back days and whatnot. So we'll go through the 3 steps. There's the pre-filming, the filming, and the post-filming, and we'll just kind of rock and roll from there. I'll be taking questions on LinkedIn, Facebook, if you guys have any, and TikTok as well. Again, do not be shy. There's no silly questions or anything. Trust me, I have spent hundreds and hundreds of hours going through and perfecting. Nothing's ever, like I mentioned everyone earlier, there's never really perfecting it. But if you guys wouldn't mind, share this with anyone you think would be beneficial in saving or would benefit from saving time. Same with LinkedIn, Facebook, and TikTok. Make sure you double tap a couple times so we can get this on more people's For You page, get more questions in there, and make this a party. So basically, in the content creation atmosphere, there is really 3 parts, like I mentioned earlier. There's pre, there's mid, and then there's post. Very simple stuff. Pre-filming is all the work that goes into getting you ready for filming. And I refer to filming because I still think that, if you're on TikTok, for instance, that's the only content that you can really share. What's up, Sandra? On other platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, you don't necessarily have to do video. I always say, just do video, because here's the benefit. Worst case scenario, you don't use that video, but you can turn that video into text. You can turn that into more smaller clips. If you do decide to use it, GIFs, you can use that as just really a great sounding board. And you never know, maybe you're not comfortable making video today, but you want to make that, 5 months from now, or you're like, oh, what did I say? And what was that story I did that one video? You have that, you can rewatch it and understand yourself doing that. So with that being said, okay, sorry about that. We're away for a second, but it's all good. It's all good. I will, let me just do this. Let me just message. That's for my girlfriend. She thought she would know that I was live streaming right now, but if not, let me just tell her. So, like I said, there's 3 parts. 3 parts to this whole equation, and we're going to do the first one. And again, when you're taking notes, and I really recommend that you take notes. Again, this video will be live after, or will be available after, but ask your questions. Again, the goal for you is, how do we save you 10 minutes at least a day, if not a month, during this process? What's up, Sandy? Okay, so here's the start. Like any good workout, like any good outcome for most things, like you don't accidentally fall into buying a house. You don't accidentally fall into a chiseled physique. That all takes time, energy, and specifically planning and the strategy. And the first thing, even before you get started with like, oh, I want to make that video for TikTok, you have to have a strategy. I know Megan's still in here, and as a marketer, the one thing that we always strive for is like getting you to have a good plan that doesn't overburden you, but you can start applying right away, and that you can have going forward. Like, it's the worst thing if you have an awesome plan but you burn out, then that wasn't really an awesome plan, then it really didn't benefit you because it wasn't sustainable. We're all about sustainability. I don't want you guys to burn out. So the first thing you got to do is, and this is like pre-filming, but you have to know who you're marketing to. You have to know your topics. You have to know, what platforms you're going to share it on, and you have to know like what value you bring to the world and what you want people to push people to. For me, it's, if you like what I'm saying, I have books, I have courses, I have consulting. That's where you can go if you want more business focus. If you want to be my friend, that's a whole different conversation. But still, like I make it a very apparent, like reach out to me, my direct message, have a call to action of some sort or some fashion. Now, for you, that can all vary, but just have those in mind as we progress throughout this process. The next thing you want to do, and this is probably the best advice that will save you hundreds and hundreds of hours in the future, is user-generated questions. That's right. Most of the content ideas I don't come up with necessarily. Sometimes I have intuitions and I have hot takes, but really I did this, I was on a podcast the other day, and I think I said like 80, and it's probably true at this point, 80% of the content that I share are inspired by users' questions, whether here on TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Quora, Medium, YouTube, whatever platform. That's where I really get the majority of my content ideas, my inspiration from. Think about it. Like, if I were to tell you right now, so Alex, if you're still on, if I told Alex, go make me a video right now, or Cole, go write me an article, you're gonna, number one, you'll probably be like, Nico, why are you telling me to do all these things? Like, you don't know me like that. But if you were to start, like, you wouldn't have a specific point. Maybe, you're like, what does Nico want me to, talk about? But if I asked Alex, hey, Alex, how would you, because he has a podcast where he talks about his faith. Like, what got you inspired to start your podcast, for instance? He can say, oh, well, I've always been curious about that. I had this story happen. And then he can just tell me, shoot that video and tell me really why like that happened to him. For Cole, on the other hand, maybe he's like, I don't want to write about, I don't know what to write about. If I tell him, write about your story on why you're doing what you're doing today, he can be like, oh, well, I do this because blah, 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 right? As you can see, like, if I give someone a prompt, if you have a prompt, it becomes very, very easy for you to create content. So that's what we do with, basically crowdsourcing these questions, is to go to Quora, for instance, and search up real estate, search up marketing, search up podcasting, search those themes. That's why I talk to you guys about having those key themes in your journey, because like if you have a theme like podcasting or coffee, for instance, you can then find people asking questions in regards to coffee or podcasting or whatnot. Like, what's the best microphone to get? What, why does coffee taste better when you steep it for this long? Like all these, how's cold brew made? Basically, you crowdsource the questions because you're the industry expert in this case, right? Like, you are sharing your messages and stories with the world, but you're sharing it because you have context on that situation, right? So the beauty of this, Sandy, Sandy, you didn't tell me how your interview went, by the way, but the benefit to you and I in this is by crowdsourcing these ideas, we've just eliminated the complete guesswork in our content creation strategy. That's awesome. If you just if that's probably one of my biggest tips, if you crowdsource your questions for creating content, like that's going to save you so much time and guesswork and frustration just by doing that. So right off the bat, I think I'm going to save you a ton of time just by having you crowdsource your questions with your strategy. Like that's it's, I'm stuttering because it's just so exciting to me, because that saved me the most time. Like the post I did today on LinkedIn and the inspiration for my first TikTok this morning was all around the fact of, crowdsourcing my questions to make content about. So once we've done that, you have to organize all your questions. So I recommend, and this is I'm going to preface the conversation. I don't do this myself because I've gotten to a certain point where, you know, I I've I've gone to the next phase of this, which is like I create a lot of my content, at least 50 to 60% of my content every single day. I create, but a lot of people don't have that time or don't have the mechanisms. I, as a marketer, can do this. What's up, Ed? I can do this because it's a little easier because it's part of my job. Like I have to create content, I have to explore and all that. But this is what I recommend for people all across the board. Take those questions, get at least 15 to 20 questions using Quora. The search results in YouTube, right? So if you go to YouTube and type in marketing and scroll down, there'll be a ton of people asking questions about marketing. You can take those and then answer those, right? So crowdsource at least 15 to 20 ideas. Sit down and film it. You can film it on your phone. Just make sure it's like this. You can film from your laptop. Just make sure that you're filming it, right? Then go through that process, right? So now we're in the filming stage, and make sure that even the free version for those of you who want to save the money, you can directly take those videos, put them in YouTube, and YouTube will actually transcribe those videos for you right away. It'll actually not right away. It takes like 15, 20, 30 minutes, but YouTube will actually go through and transcribe your videos. So now you've taken this video, this long form video, let's say it's an hour long, most likely it's gonna be 30 minutes, and it's gonna give you 30 minutes worth of text. Now you're gonna take those videos and split them up. And that's what I recommend. So split up those videos and then put them into more YouTube videos for clips to use later on LinkedIn or TikTok or Facebook or whatever platform that is. Because now what we're doing is we're taking that big behemoth, because as much as I love movies, I watch many more clips that are like 5 minutes or 3 minutes long than I do watch movies. So what you want to do is take this this session, and break it down into little clips. Now, this is where I've been trying to get better at telling people, like I said, you do not have to use these clips. Sometimes the video quality isn't the best. Sometimes maybe your cat walked in and you don't want that to be in your video. Whatever that is, you do not have to actually use those videos. I recommend it because you spent all that time, energy, money, resources making those, but you don't necessarily have to use them in the moment, right? Always come back to them. But if you do use it, there are software where we can actually burn the captions directly in, and there's a couple I can recommend if you guys are interested in those. There's a lot of free options out there, and I'm actually put a guide together for that, so that you guys can have that in reference to it whenever you want. By the way, we have a lot of people on live all across the board, and not too many questions. I can't be doing that great of job. If I am, then thank you. But if you guys have questions throughout this process, make sure to throw them in there. It's good that I'm sharing this, but I want to make this very applicable to you. Again, remember, our goal is to save you at least 10 minutes a week, if not a month, and basically throughout your content creation journey. So help me help you do that, because that's where the value is, in my opinion, right? So what's up, Caitlin? So with that being said, now that we're breaking up those videos, right? We're breaking up them, and we're having YouTube transcribe the text in there. The nice thing that you and I can do is we can directly take those texts, those captions, right? So, and for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, whenever you make a video and you publish it, again, this is live, so you can't. But if I were to save this video and upload it to YouTube, for instance, all the captions at the bottom that you see, the machine learning and AI actually puts those in there, right? That's awesome. But the thing is that most people don't realize is, what's up? A lot of people don't realize is you can take those and then download it as a t.txt form, which is just a basic text form. You could take that and copy and paste that into Grammarly, for instance. That's what I use. A lot of people use Docs, Word Docs, but I use Grammarly because my grammar and spelling is atrocious, and I like that Grammarly actually changes the sentence structures. So that's awesome. That's awesome in my opinion. Guys, you guys are awesome. I know we went live a little earlier today because I have to actually jump off a couple minutes before, because I have to I have a meeting at 9 and I have to prepare for. I forgot to prepare for it yesterday, but hey, that's part of the job. I'm doing well. We're talking about for I'll just repeat it because I see a couple of other people on the other platforms jumping on. Right now, we're talking about how to save you time through your content creation journey. So, if you guys have questions, let me know. But I'm well. I listen in day with some good coffee. As you can see, it's a little low today, but we'll fill up again, in due time. We will fill up that delicious cup of Joe, and then we'll rock and roll. So let me take a sip, and then we'll talk about taking that text and doing something cool with it. There's nothing better than a good cup of coffee, guys. Let me tell you, like few things in my life, are as consistent and as awesome as a nice cup of coffee. So just saying that. Oh yeah, and are you drinking black? Because black coffee, it takes a while to warm up to it, but it's delicious. Yeah, Sandy, I use a. Let me share it across the board really quickly. I use a. That's weird. Not letting me comment. Oh, there. Oh, Caitlin, I'm going to tag you in this, but this is for Sandy. It's called Grammarly. So, like I said, it's by far my favorite when it comes to actually putting those in there. So, basically, right now the benefit is we have this text, the .txt file, the text, right? There's two things that we can do with it. There's actually multiple things, but there are two big things. One is you can take those captions, the text, and then you can put them as the supporting text to those videos. So for whenever you're on Facebook or something, you might see a video, but you see some text above that gives you a summary or insight of what that video is about. You can take that text and change it up, basically cut out all the fillers. I always like to do the introduction, what are you going to talk about, and what was the outcome of what you talked about. Very simple formula. So we're going to talk about marketing, or we're going to talk about social media marketing. I'm going to show you the top 3 tips on how to create more content, and then my takeaway is now go apply this, or pick one and run with it, or something like a call to action or something like that. With that being said, though, let me move back a little bit. That's weird. Webcam fell a little bit. There we go. So with that being said, now you have the ability to take this TXT file and turn that into that caption. Later, you can actually copy that text and use that as a tweet. You can use that as a quote. You can take that and post it on a nice infographic. You can do a lot of cool things with it. With that being said, though, you can also bypass that and take the text and directly apply that as a tweet, as a short form. One thing I love to do is long form Q&A blogs, right? So I'll have like 5 questions that I want to discuss around a centralized topic. Let's say it's, let's say we're talking about like peaches, right? So what's a good peach? Where's the best peaches grown? What's the history of peaches? So basically, I'll break down like a theme. Like for instance, this case, it was peaches, and then I'll write about that, and offer that as a blog. Later, I can see which ones did really well. I can take those quotes and put them out. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do with it. With that being said, now we're getting to the posts. So when strategizing, getting the questions together from users, Quora, YouTube comments and stuff. Then in the middle, there was the filming. We actually filmed the content, long form content. And towards the end, then OMG, remember first. Remember that first. Maybe talking about the peaches, because I'm like, yeah, I love peaches. I said that on one of my first lives, so maybe referring to that. At the end, it's the repurposing, it's the content creation, it's building up that repository. Because here's the thing: if you go through this little checklist that we've built for each other, you will film for about 30, 45 minutes. That will turn into at least 10 clips if you decide to use it at least. It will turn into about 10 text posts, and then it will also turn into about 10 quotes to put on graphics, polls. There's a lot of cool stuff that comes from that, right? So the benefit is 30, 45 minutes of filming, 15 20 minutes of pre-planning, right? So we'll do low end, we'll do high end. So 20 minutes, then we have, let's say, an hour, just keep it easy. And then you have about probably another hour and a half of editing. So in 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours to 3 hours, you basically created 30 pieces of content that can go out on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Quora, TikTok, Instagram stories, Snapchat. There's so many places that it can go, right? So the benefit is invest the time in getting a strategy, find user-generated questions that support that strategy, film, even if you never use the videos, and then break up that long form video into smaller sections. So hopefully that kind of shows you guys the insights into what I do for my strategy. I'm the one that commented on. Oh, what's up, dude? Yeah. You've been commenting first on the last couple. That's awesome. So yeah, team, that's kind of what I have for you guys. We'll give 2 or 3 more minutes for Q&A across the board. Otherwise, we're gonna wrap this one up early. I apologize for jumping in a little bit early and ending early. I have been meaning to prepare for this. It's super small. I have most of my notes. I just have to like organize my notes for this meeting. I don't know about you guys, but like for me, I love to go into. I don't really like meetings the most. I like having very clear objectives for my meetings because then I can, not waste anyone else's time. I'm more organized. I get more done. Everyone's so nice. So nice across the board. So let's see what else. Sweet. Looks like everyone's pretty much like surviving with this today. How are you guys feeling? You guys feeling good? Because it's I can feel it. Like I'm one day behind, but the weekend's almost here. It's crazy part in there. So LinkedIn, Facebook, I'm gonna shoot off here, and then TikTok. We'll take any last questions there, but otherwise.